Yo, what's good? This is Casey for L King Self for Life Wrestling Takes, and you're now watching Casey for L Wrestling Takes Show. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy KCFL King Self for Life Wrestling Takes. I'm a day later because I was actually at the event. I actually had the opportunity to go to AEW Dynamite. It was live in the backyard at the Wintrust Arena. I gotta say, between the Wintrust Arena and the Allstate Arena, I think the Wintrust Arena has a whole lot more room in there. You can spread yourself out. I thought, listen, just being in that atmosphere, listen, man, you call yourself a wrestling fan, you got to hit up a show. You had to. That's why I hope, regardless of all the nonsense that's going on, that the things that we can't control, I hope everybody who is a fan of this channel or just a wrestling fan in general have the opportunity to go to a wrestling show, regardless if it's WWE, AEW, New Japan, Impact, you name it. If they come to your city, at least find a way to get a ticket and go. I'm telling you, you're gonna enjoy yourself. You really are. I had a good time. First and foremost, I want to take the time to shout out my boys over at Cleveland Me. First started with the main man himself, Joe Arillo. It was so good to see you in person, brother. I'm telling you, man. And my main guy, Mr. Tampa Tons. The only cat we was missing was my brother, Mr. Cleveland. We missed you, bro. We missed you, man. We wanted to see you too, bro. I was like, man, I get to see my boys, but we missing my other boy. I'm like, man, we would have had the whole crew. But, hey, it's other shows down the line that we probably run into each other. But listen, I had a good time seeing y'all cats, man. I'm telling y'all. And speaking of which, I have been invited back to be on their show. I believe we're going to be recording this upcoming Wednesday. So I will be back. That's Cleveland Me. Their podcast is available. I believe it's on Spotify, and I think it's on Apple. I think it's on iTunes. But I know it's on Spotify, if I'm not mistaken. But it's Cleveland Me. They got my man's on Twitter at Cleveland Me. Tom Patons on Twitter. Y'all, Cleve the GOAT. Check them out. I'm telling y'all, they give you an outstanding review on all things wrestling, whether it's Raw, SmackDown, NXT, WWE, AEW, New Japan, Impact. They talk about it. Listen, being in that place, being in that atmosphere, it's nothing like it. Like, we sit up, we watch it on TV, we sit up, we critique it all day long. But when you get an opportunity to be there in the atmosphere, it's crazy. And also, too, before I get into talking about this review, I also got an opportunity to see an ex-co-worker of mine who I used to work with before he moved to Indiana. Shout out to my main man, Pat. I got an opportunity to see him as well. I know sometimes, I think he still subscribed to me. I know he sometimes watch my reviews and everything, but it was good running to him. It was good seeing you, bro. Like I said, I'm glad you're doing a great job out there in Indiana. We got to break down this show. This was the go-home show for Dynamite side going into Forbidden Door 2. I thought it was a decent go-home show. I thought last week's Dynamite was a little bit better. I think a lot of that has to do with the wrestling that we get on these shows. I think the way how Tony Khan produces these shows, I think he could do a better job at putting what's the most important thing. The most important thing is you're trying to sell Forbidden Door 2. That is the number one goal. We're trying to sell Forbidden Door 2. So what I would have done, I probably would have opened up the show with either MJF and Adam Cole, or I'll open up the show with what they closed the show with, which was Eddie Kingston in them situation. You open the show with Eddie Kingston and Moxley because it's a cap off of what took place when Dynamite went off last week. You see what I'm going? It's like, keep the storyline going. Don't just open up. Listen, look, every now and then you can open up with a wrestling match. Because WWE does it all the time. NXT does it all the time. But for the majority of the time, they come on with a promo. They come on with what the heck happened the previous week. It's wrestling TV is always about the continuation of where we left off. It's a freaking soap opera, ladies and gentlemen. It's the continuation of where we left off. We did not leave off with no freaking Jeff Hardy versus the A-Boys. And Matt Hardy versus the A-Boys. We did not leave off with that. But this is TK. What does he like to do? I got to start off with the action. The action is the storyline of where we left off at. Now, I know the elite, quote-unquote, weren't in the house because they would have got booed to death. Ladies and gentlemen, you start your show with the program that we concluded from last week. It's not that difficult. That's how we go. That's what I would have did. I would have opened up the show with the program of where we left off. And then Eddie Kingston kicks off the show. He calls out Mox because he wants to know where the heck Moxley lies, even though he's in the BCC. No, TK said, I got to give you the Hardys versus the Guns. And that's exactly where we started. So we get them two going at it, four going at it. Now, listen, the crowd's reaction was kind of mixed because everybody knows Jeff Hardy's been in and out, in trouble, out of trouble, botching all over the place. We like, man, this is the end. Ladies and gentlemen, I thought Jeff Hardy did not look bad in this match. You know, Matt Hardy's still reasonable. You can still deal with Matt Hardy. But this matchup was all about Austin and Colton Gunn. This was like another coming out party with them. The A-Boys have been impressing me more and more. Obviously, you know, they joined Bullet Club Gold, so you know they got to look strong. And obviously, they got the victory because Jay White and Juice Robinson came out and basically interfered, causing the distraction. All A-Boys end up winning. So after that, all of them started putting a mud hole in the Hardy Boys. Now, obviously, this was because Jeff Hardy's not allowed in Canada because of all the felonies that he didn't got himself into. So this was a way to write them off TV. And obviously, you know, you ain't doing anything with the Hardys right now. So this is a way to write them off TV. They got jumped till they come back. Because obviously, they're going to be in Canada for a little bit. They're going to be in Canada for a little bit. So we won't be seeing Jeff and Matt for a little bit. So after the beatdown, Ricky Starks came running out there, called himself trying to save the day. Then FTR came out. Both Ricky and FTR got a huge pop. And then right afterwards, whose name they was calling, y'all know we in Chicago, you know fool's gonna go nuts for you know who. They started chanting CM Punk. Sure enough, that fool came running his old tail on out there. He came running out there trying to save the day. And it looked like the odds were even up. But Bullet Club Gold got away, and so CM Punk got on the mic. He said, hey, look, I'm not supposed to be here, but since you fools want to fight, I want to fight too. How about we have ourselves a little 8-man tag team match on Collision? So obviously we getting technically we getting the same matchup we got last week. The only difference is Samoa Joe's not in it. That's the only difference. So how many times I get on WWE case for Baker having rematches, but The only reason why I'm actually okay with this is because it's a continuation. This is the only pass I give it. I'm the main dude that be one of the biggest dudes sitting up here saying, here we go again with the rematches. I agree. I don't like rematches back to back to back. I don't, but obviously they doing it, but they're not going to do it 15,000 times like WWE does. They're going to do it just one time for this particular feud, and we're going to move on. But CM Punk has been named into the Owen Hart Cup Challenge. He's going against this dude named I don't even know how to pronounce his name, but Kojima is his last name. So that's who we going against. But that was that segment. It was all right. It was cool. You know, it is what it is on that. We get a video package from what took place the previous week on Rampage. Jeff Jarrett said that everybody in the mama who's associated with me will not be out here for this concession stand match. When I beat your behind Mark Briscoe, he lied his tail off. Now, listen, for the fools that love sports entertainment, this matchup had all the sports entertainment you want. But, again, the only thing I cared about was Jeff Jarrett lost. So, all the clowns that got involved, cats putting ketchup and mustard on one another, throwing hot dogs, and cats going through tables and all of this foolishness. But all the clowns that's associated with Jeff Jarrett got involved. Karen got involved. Jay Lethal got involved. Sanjay Dutt got involved. Satnam Singh got involved. Mark Briscoe's father got involved. Look, but somehow, some way, Mark Briscoe found the way to win. And that's the end of Jeff Jarrett trying to wrestle in AEW. That's the only part I cared about it. He lost. That is the best thing that came out of this matchup. Jeff Jarrett, shout out to my man, OTRS Central Jeff. He said it. Memphis mid-card piece of crap. He's done. No more Memphis mid-card piece of crap. I'm happy. I'm a happy man. Great. We don't need to see this fool wrestle no more. So that was the best part of the whole matchup. Mark Briscoe winning. We got backstage segment, the BCC challenging the Elite. So it's going to be, again, multi-man match heaven. Y'all already know. I know a lot of people are so tired of it. The only reason I care about this matchup is because of Moxley and Eddie Kingston. Because as of right now, that's the biggest storyline going for them. The biggest storyline going for Dynamite is Moxley and Eddie Kingston because of their brother rivalry. They brothers, but they got a rival. And Kingston want to know whose side is who's on. I know you're rolling with those evil clowns in the blood combat. What I call them? Blood combat clowns. That's what I call them. The blood combat clowns. But that's his homeboy for life. So he trying to figure out. So they got another clown to join them. So it's gonna be the BCC, Don Callis, Takeshita, and some other clown that's joining them. And so they said you find yourself two others to basically meet them at Forbidden Door. So it's gonna be a 5-on-5. So now at this point, this was by far for me. I thought this was possibly the best match on the whole show. We got Action Andrade, AR Fox, and Darius Martin taking on the Lesseps guys, which is Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, and Minoru Suzuki. Now, the whole story about this is the connection between Jericho and Sammy Guevara. Because we know the body language between Sammy and Jericho shows you that these two are breaking up. These two are no longer the Lesseps guys. The Lesseps guys are over. It's over. I'm telling you, it's over. It's over, ladies and gentlemen. But they had to play it up. They got to play it up. So, this was, like I said, it's a very good matchup. Everybody got their stuff in. AR Fox shining. Action Andrade looking like $1 million. This is why I say, man, when you got cats like these, you don't want to just get them hot and then they turn cold again. And that's somewhere where Tony Khan going to have to work out, because it seems like he'll get somebody and he'll make them feel like, okay, I need to get behind these cats. But then guess what? They disappear. Then you want to bring them back out here, and now we automatically supposed to get behind them. It don't work like that. It does not work like that, man. But Chris Jericho, Sammy, Minoru, obviously you knew they had to win. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I actually thought that AR Fox and them was going to get the victory, but silly me, I should have known better. They lost. You know, the crowd was very into this. They was heavy. Like I said, we was listen, Chicago was clowning. They were clowning. Like I said, every time when somebody would hit Minoru, especially when Darius would hit him, they say you effed up. I mean, cats was just clowning. I'm telling you, man, being in these wrestling arenas, these fans are some of the craziest wrestling fans you know, ladies and gentlemen. They got some crazy heads. Listen, you can ask Tampa and you can ask Joe because they was there themselves. When we all get together and do this review, when I get review whatever, we're gonna talk about this. We're gonna talk about our experiences being at Dynamite. We're gonna go over all that. But fans is just acting a complete fool doing this matchup. But the LaSex guys and Minoru Suzuki won. So afterwards, Jericho cut a promo. So Renee was in the ring and she asked about Sting's situation. He grabbed the mic and he said everyone who was so excited except him because he knows Sting for a long time and now selfishly, egotistically he is, and how he only shows up for the highest bidder, not a Harley Quinn but a whore. He challenges Sting and Darby to a trios match and tells them to find some other schmuck to help them out. Here comes Sting. So they come out there. Sting comes in there. And Jericho cussing at him under his breath. Crowd goes nuts. It's Sting. You already know. You know how Tony Schiavone get. Sting come out there. He grabbed that man by the arm. He said, "You're so happy to see me." Listen, I know a lot of y'all want us to get time. I know I wanted to do something last week. But apparently this Sunday we're going to have plenty of time. And guess what? They basically know what that means. Me and Darby accept. And then Darby said, since you want to know who our third member is, you won't find out until Collision. Crowd boo because everybody wanted them to reveal it on Dynamite. I agree. I kind of wanted them to reveal it on Dynamite, but this is a way for a pitch. Hey, tune in to Dynamite. If you want to know exactly who their third partner is going to be, tune in. Okay, I like it. I'm cool with it. You know what I'm saying? But the crowd, nah, they was booing the mess out of it. They was booing it. But I say right here, this is when the show really started picking up. Like I said, this is when the show started picking up. Now, when they played this in the arena, it was kind of hard to hear because it was like everybody was so freaking loud that I was trying to hear what this whole segment with Tony Schiavone and RJ City was. But when I came back home to watch, they had like a lottery picking to see. So it's almost like random cats are going to be tag team partners. I thought they had random tag teams already assembled that was tag teams. I didn't know they was going to be making mixed match tag teams that Cass is not in. So the two of them picked, and Tony Schiavone had this look on his face as if he was finna start busting up laugh. Like he said, this is an odd pairing, but we will reveal this later on. So obviously you knew something was up. So now we get the Elite, and ladies and gentlemen, what I heard on the TV, listen, we was booing the mess out of them, and the F the Elite chants, you heard a little bit of it. Tony Khan and them tried their best to quote unquote edit it out because they got booed out of this world. They definitely, if you listen to it on TV, you could tell that they kind of was phasing out the boos. They was phasing them out until Eddie Kingston popped up. But cats was saying just like how they did at Collision. They were saying boo, F the Elite, all of that. They were saying all that nonsense. I wasn't saying nothing because remember, I'm cool with the Elite. I ain't like all these hardcore heads as crazy as the Betsy Bug that's picking a side. I'm cool with CM Punk. I'm cool with the Elite. I don't have no allegiance to neither one of them. I'm not tripping like what these wrestling fans do. As my homeboy King might say, they take this stuff so freaking serious. Like I said, I ain't got no allegiance. I'm cool. I just want cats to do work. Like I said, let's make money together. Let's do business because at the end of the day, AEW needs something big. They need something big, man. They right there. Like I said, I know fools like to hate on this company so much. So many people, they hop on here, they get on here, they talk nonsense, they talk crap. But at the end of the day, AEW is sitting right here. They've been in business for 4 years. There have been people that have been praying for their downfall as long as they've been a company. And a lot of stuff has been self-inflicted, a lot. But think about this, for a 4-year company, they have been pushing and pushing and pushing, and look at what the E is doing. The E does everything in their power to make sure they have something going on at the same exact time AEW does. So AEW said, all right, we're going to click back. We're going to pop back at y'all. We putting Collision on Saturday nights. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Who has pay-per-views on Saturday night? WWE. See, WWE been pushing, and quote unquote claiming that AEW is not competition. Well, why the heck they decided to constantly keep putting pay-per-views on the same exact weekend? Heck, we just had a double pay-per-view at the same time. We had Battleground on the same exact time as Double or Nothing. And you got Shawn Michaels lying his behind off, talk about some, we just trying to make sure it's not. No, y'all did that because y'all wanted to take a hit. Y'all wanted to pull away from pay-per-view buys from AEW. That's all that was. But like I say, the fans was booing the mess out of them as they was talking. So that editing that you hear it because it kind of sounds like they phase us out for a little bit. But then once Eddie Kingston popped back up, you hear everybody cheering again. That's because that was purposely done. Cats was sitting up there saying F the Elite. I'm telling you, we was there. You can ask. I'm telling you, you can ask Tompa Toms and Joe themselves. They'll tell you, and I'm telling you, ask them because they was there. They was talking about some F the Elite and all this crazy stuff. But Eddie Kingston pulls up because they said, all right, BCC, you claim that y'all, got people that you want to hang out with. Hey, we got friends too. So then next thing you know, Kingston pops up. Kingston says, hey, listen, look, I don't like y'all because y'all tried to blow me up. Basically going back to the crazy anarchy in the arena from last year when they was on opposite sides. But this time, he's on their side. He said, listen, the enemy of my enemy is on their side, which is Claudio. I hate him more than I hate you. So listen, I'll roll with y'all, but the next guy that joins us is somebody who I'm cool with. I don't trust him, but I like him more than I like you. Best segment out of the main event segment for me. Adam Cole comes out. Chicago goes 8. Now, we were sitting next to some clowns that was actually talking about Adam Cole suck. I don't know what's wrong with these fools in the IWC. I can see these fools just be hating on this man. Adam Cole, listen, man, when he came out there, they went ape. I'm trying to tell y'all, this man is well loved all over the place. And Wintrust Arena just went, the roof came off the building when he came out there. They went nuts for this man. And I said, all right, we are getting Adam Cole responding to you know who. I said, man, maybe we'll get an MJF sighting. Yes, we did. Adam Cole got on the mic. He said, hey, Chicago, I ain't got to say it, but who wants to hear story time with Adam Cole, baby? He said, listen, I can't stand this guy's guts, but I got to get the devil where he's due. That man gave me one of the toughest matches I had in my entire career. And he used the advantage of the time clock to somehow win. But let's tell the bold-faced truth. Not only did I not win that match, he didn't win that match. So, MJF, if your tail is in the back, get your butt out here right now because I deserve to get a rematch right now. Next thing you know, MJF music hit. Man, listen, our city went from, it's a mixed reaction. Cats was happy as heck to see that man, but you had cats booing. So it was a mixed reaction, big time. I'm telling you, cats love MJF. I said, man, I was so glad to be in the arena when this fool popped up. I say, yes, the clown is here. Mr. MJF, Maxwell Jacob Freeman was there. I said, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we finna heat, we finna cook. Man, they got in the ring, MJF. He congratulated him. He said, listen, I thought the old Adam Cole would never show up. But listen, when you got in the ring with me, we had ourselves a banger. What MJF does, he always puts over whoever he's dealing with. Then he takes a shot right back at him. That's his goal. He always upslift them, and then he takes a shot. And he pretty much said, I know you deserve a doggone rematch, but I'm just here to come tell you straight to your face. You ain't getting no rematch. I mean, typical heel. That's what you want to do. Typical. So, the two of them, because I'm about to talk about it, the two of them are arguing, going back and forth. And since he said, since you don't want to give me a rematch, how about I beat your behind right here in Chicago? Everybody out here going completely ape. They going nuts. Tony Schiavone gets up out of nowhere and said, hey, fellas, I got something to tell you. And simultaneously, the two of them told him to shut up. And I forgot, the one thing that these two clowns have in common, MJF and Adam Cole cannot stand Tony Khan. So even with Cole being a babyface, he still got beef with Tony Schiavone. And MJF hates Tony Schiavone. So that's the one thing I like. I thought it was gold. I thought with them reacting and being simultaneously at the same time, that was great. But he tried to tell them, hey, since we're doing this tag team eliminator tournament, I got some news for you. We pulled 2 names out of that hat, and guess what? The tag team that we have together is you, Adam Cole, and you, MJF, and the 2 of them went completely insane. They was mad, they was upset, and Tony Schiavone said, "Hey fellas, you do what you do, you enjoy yourself." Adam Cole said, "I'm not teaming up with this guy," and then MJF told him, "Man," he said, "you must be a perv. You think I'm finna wrestle every week? You out of your dang mind." He said, "Hey fellas, you enjoy. I'm good. Listen." I thought the segment was great. That part was good. So as they still talking, Harushi Tanahashi pops up on the screen, gives a promo directed straight to Max. He says, "I dare you to pull up to Forbidden Door, but you ain't got the strength to deal with somebody that's from New Japan. You ain't got the power. I mean, you're not ready for the power of Ace." And then Adam Cole says, "Hey man, well, did that man just say he's better than you? You know, unless you must be a coward." And he got a coward chant out of him. He said, "What, you think I'm a coward? You know what, Tanahashi, if you want me, the best dude," because he said there's nobody on the level of the devil, "Tanahashi, you're on." Ladies and gentlemen, the matchup is set. Adam Cole baited that man to wrestle that man. So what took place on Rampage, MJF got him back. I'll talk about that on Rampage when the Rampage episode came out, because I was actually in attendance. I'm not going to talk about it, but if you want to go and read the spoilers, you can read the spoilers. I thought the segment was gold. He got him back. Perfect, because they supposed to be a tag team duo. That's the name of the game. He said, "All right, since we supposed to be quote-unquote partners, I baited you into a match, but guess what? I'm about to bait you into a match." Ladies and gentlemen, I didn't think that this tag team, I wasn't even thinking that that's the way how Tony Khan was going to go with this. So, you know what the script is. It's the can they coexist nonsense. They already can't coexist because it's 2 different personalities. It's a cat that's a prick. Now, here's the deal. Adam Cole used to be a prick. He used to be. He's not a prick anymore. He's a babyface. MJF, you already know how he get down. So, now we're going to try to see can these 2 match together. Now, here's the deal. The 2 of them put on a banger against one another. I can only imagine what type of matchups they're going to be having, whoever they plan on wrestling in this Eliminator blind tournament thing. Listen, I'm all for it. This is basically to push this story all the way to All In. They are not wrestling each other back on TV, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to have to buy it. Adam Cole versus MJF, the second time around for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, will not be on free TV. It won't. But I thought this segment was great. I thought they did an outstanding job. So then we get the matchup that ends up potentially turning into a fatal 4-way at Forbidden Door. It is Mr. Daniel Garcia versus Zack Sabre Jr. and Katsuyori Shibata and Orange Cassidy. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I was about to get on Tony Khan's case because I know how this clown works. I was about to say, well, you know, the circus clown loved to open his doggone shows with Orange Cassidy. And I had a real good conversation with my main Ace. Shout out to my main boy, Mr. Mayor. We talked about this. We talked about how we both feel Orange Cassidy is great. We feel that he has an outstanding character. The problem with Orange Cassidy and Tony Khan is the fact when you have somebody like that, you do not want to expose him on TV week in and week out. But what Tony Khan consistently did for several weeks straight, opening the dang show with this clown. And I said he's been overpushed, overexposed. You don't even want to see this man with the championship no more. You don't. You want to see this man gone somewhere chilling. And unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, it got like, now the situation with Jade, because Jade was there, but she really didn't do too much because the TBS title was strictly made for her. The problem with Jade, everybody know it was the in-ring work. Cass was getting tired of it. They was like, we can't wait to see her lose that championship. Orange Cassidy, on the other hand, is out here putting on bangers weekend and why. Listen, I never said the matches he had. I think the weakest match Orange Cassidy had when it came to singles competition was the match he had with Kyle Fletcher. Everybody else he wrestled, banger. But the problem is when you constantly being pushed and being in the forefront right at the beginning, over and over and over and over, you're like, I'm tired of it. I mean, heck, I would have been fine with Swerve winning at Double or Nothing. OC go away, OC chilling. Heck, instead of OC, we could have had Swerve versus Shibata versus Zack Sabre Jr. versus DG. Could have had that, but Tony Khan said, nah, I got to push OC. This tag team match, it was okay, man. It was all right. The funniest thing about this was DG doing the clown dancing. Man, look, the crowd was laughing they behinds off. Every time DG did that little group. Matter of fact, he actually did it. I think he was doing it in the face of OC, where he was literally putting his junk in his face, and the crowd said, you sick F, you sick F. Listen, man, DG's a clown. Daniel Garcia is a circus clown through and through. And then everybody started to say, you're a wrestler chant. They got a you're a wrestler chant going there. Zack Sabre Jr., I've said it before, and I'll say it again. He is a great technical wrestler. It's just the man's character. I'm not really too into the character. Shibata, listen, there was the cast that was sitting by me was doing the Shibata. They was doing a little Shibata chant or whatever he was doing. But like I say, the tag team match for me, and then the fact that right after the matchup, so OC knocked out Shibata, and that's why they lost the matchup. So then right afterwards, you seen everybody trying to grab onto the championship. What they should have done, because obviously everybody knew that this was the matchup was going to be. And plus, it's another pay-per-view. You know dang well Tony Khan not leaving Orange Cassidy off a pay-per-view. Come on now. Come on. Listen, we might have been born tonight, but we weren't born last night. You know this clown, Tony Khan, can't help himself. Can't. This fool cannot help himself, ladies and gentlemen. You know Orange Cassidy is going to be on a freaking pay-per-view. What I would have did was last week when they cut that promo, you should have announced right then it's going to be a fatal four-way between the following clowns. So cats already got an idea. Okay, they're going to have a little tag team match to see can the baby faces work together for right now, and can the heels work together for right now until we get to Forbidden Door. That would have actually killed two birds with one stone right there. So then you already know when the situation happened, okay, now we got somewhat a little bit of story would have made more sense, but we dealing with a clown that sometimes act like he don't know what he's doing. Talk about Tony Khan. But like I said, it was a decent tag team match. But like I said, man, it's that. Like I said, DG and them ended up winning. And like I said, afterwards, they all started grabbing onto the championship. But then OC finally grabbed on, walked off, looked at everybody, and that was that. It was the end of that segment. So we get a backstage segment. Alex Marvez runs up to Will Ospreay. And he talks about what he plans on doing to Kenny Omega. And he says, bruv, listen, I've wrestled in more civilized countries, but I got word back. Fools online said that as soon as I land in Canada, people are going to burn rush me, brother. Listen, I need security. Who comes out the woodwork? Don the Clown. Don Callis rolls up. He tells him, listen, I got a special task force that's going to be assigned to you to help you out, but it's up to you. He said, hey, look, what do you want? What do you want out of it? He said, I just want a good fight. You can't trust Don the Clown for nothing. But the only deal is Will Ospreay is a heel. Don the Clown is a heel. So more than likely, this is going to be the reason as to why Will Ospreay eventually wins that championship. Or does it? That is a big question. Because outside of this matchup, I think most of the matches on Forbidden Door 2 feels very predictable. If you go and look at that card, you can basically predict who's going to win. Now, Tony Khan, remember, ladies and gentlemen, Tony Khan is the master of the swerve. He is the master, because there's been times when I told you that something was going to happen. This circus clown would go completely the opposite. And you would be like, man, but majority of the matches on this card, I feel like it's a very predictable card, you know. But it to each his own, you know what I'm saying? So then we get a video. I thought this was an excellent video promo package. The only problem I got, I just hate champion versus champion. Tony Storm and Willow Nightingale said what they said against one another. I thought this was a beautiful video package promo put together to set up the matchup. Yes, they have story. So people want to say there's no story. They've been beefing with them for a long time. So it makes sense to do the match. I just hate the fact that Willow Nightingale has the championship. See, if Willow Nightingale didn't have no title, come on. I think this would have been a perfect matchup. I thought this would have been great. The promo was outstanding, right on point. But my issue is I hate champions versus I just hate it, because somebody's championship is they're gonna look terrible. They're gonna look terrible. I'm serious. And more than likely, you know damn well Willow Nightingale is not beating Tony Storm. We know it. Toni Storm is only losing to one girl, and when she get back, that's who she's losing to, and that's Miss Jamie Hayter. But as of right now, no. This matchup. Now, the storyline has been Taya Valkyrie has been desperately trying to win this championship. This is her third time going up for the TBS championship. She had 2 matches against Jade. First match was decent. The second match was, for me, the best match. That was one of Jade's best matches. Her and Taya tore it down at Double or Nothing. Chris Statlander and Taya. Now, there was a spot where Chris went flying out the ring, and she landed, and everybody in the audience thought she got hurt again, but obviously she didn't. Chris and Taya tore the house down. I don't know how it came across to y'all, but for me, I was paying attention. This match had my eyeballs, and for obvious reasons, yes, got 2 beautiful women in there, but the girls did that thing. I thought this was a very good women's matchup. Taya wasn't winning. I felt bad for Taya because, she wasn't winning. Now the big storyline for Taya right now is, what does she do next? And same thing for Chris. What does Chris do? Because now we have to. It's both of them going their separate ways. Taya can't challenge as long as Chris is the TBS champion. She can't challenge for the TBS championship as long as Chris has it. So Taya has to go do something else, and Chris has to go do something else. But see, now this is the booking of TK where he has to step it up. He has to step up because you have to feel, okay, what's next? That's the big thing. We had a great match, but what's next? That's always been, that seems to be a lot with so many of the things that's happening in this product. Is what's next? Is not the fact that look at, you know how when you know what's next because you sense it, but after it happened, you ask yourself, okay, what's next? Yes, the matchup was excellent. I thought it was listen, outside of the 6-man tag team match, this matchup was great. It was an excellent matchup. I mean, you could pick between this one and the 6-man tag team match on what you thought was a better matchup. Both matchups was great, but again, what's next? What's next for Taya? What's next for Chris? We need to immediately get to that coming up next week. Heck, if you want Chris to pull up on Collision, fine. By all means, let's keep it going. That's what TK and them got to do. That's what they got to do. So, we got Eddie Kingston coming out there. So, ladies and gentlemen, now, notice Tony Khan decided to do this. We didn't have no main event. So, Chris in the match you could consider was the main event. We had the promo storyline of selling Forbidden Door 2. Why should I buy Forbidden Door 2 is what Eddie Kingston, Moxley, Bryan, and Okada's job was. It was to get you to buy Forbidden Door. Why should we order Forbidden Door 2? Kingston comes out. He talks about what he plans on doing. He calls Mox out. Now, I got word that Mox wasn't even supposed to be there. That's what they said. But Mox and them were there because they cut their promo from the back. So they were there. So there wasn't no tape promo with them. They was there. Man, listen, as Eddie was talking to the crowd, he did mention Kenny and the Bucks. And yeah, we started booing again. They started booing. But he said, look, I ain't got no beef with them. I just want to let everybody know who's going to be joining us. But first, I got to just address Mox. Now, Mox, if you're here, I need to talk to you. Man, Mox came from the crowd, and listen, the crowd was going ape. Moxley got a mixed reaction. He wasn't really technically he got some boos, but it was a lot of people that was cheering him. Because no music, which is perfect, and he came walking from the crowd. And he got in the ring with that man. He addressed that man. He told him who was joining him. He said Ishii is coming. And as he addressed that man, he gave him the microphone to say what he had to say. He got in his face. But again, it's the emotional attachment that you have. These are two brothers who just as of right now are having a disagreement because they do not want to touch each other. Because remember when Eddie Kingston first came, him and Moxley was beefing harder than that thing. Because he felt that Moxley left them hanging. But then Moxley said, no, come on down. And they got back to being cool again. Now, it's almost like they don't want to fight each other. And I say, listen, this right here is, as of right now, is the biggest storyline for Dynamite. I ain't talking about Collision. I'm just talking about for Dynamite. I say, we got some story right now. It's the emotional attachment of the two homeboys who, quote unquote, don't technically have beef, but one of the homeboys have homeboy with his homeboy who he's with. And so next thing you know, Claudio and Yuta came out the woodwork and basically annihilated Ishii and Eddie Kingston. Now Moxley dipped out. Moxley dipped. He was gone. So then after that, that's when Bryan came out, and Bryan was out there, and he got on the mic and he called Okada out. He said, Okada, if you really that dude, come on out here. If you ain't a coward, I want to see you. Man, next thing you know, Okada music hit, crowd went ape. They went completely ape. Yuta tried to get a couple of licks in, and now listen, when the two of them actually looked at each other, Bryan and Okada tried their best to stay in character, but they both started laughing because they know they finna eat on Sunday. They know they finna eat. Look here. I don't watch New Japan like that, but I'll just remember the classes that Okada had with Kenny, and I know Okada's great. I mean, we just seen him last year in that Fatal 4-Way, and you know Bryan is a monster in the ring as well. So the moment these two link up, everybody's expecting the class. The two of them looked at each other. They started laughing because they know. So then Willer, it's funny. Bryan Kodaself tried to kick Okada in the face. He actually ended up kicking Willer Yuta. So then Willer Yuta tried to quote-unquote get his licks back on Okada. And Okada not only got rid of Bryan because Bryan went flying out the ring. That's when Okada basically destroyed Yuta. Yuta basically got jumped twice. So then we ended with Okada and Bryan basically going back and forth, grinning and laughing it up while the crowd was just eating it up. I say, this is how you sell a pay-per-view. I got to give Tony Khan, I thought the ending was fantastic. Selling the pay-per-view. You don't have to always have a freaking match. It's about selling the pay-per-view. Why should I buy it? Why the heck should we bother spending $50 on a pay-per-view? I know some cats are going to find a way to watch it illegally. Cool, you do what you got to do. But I know for myself, I don't mind paying it because I'm a wrestling head. I watch this stuff. Selling the pay-per-view. We got it. Bryan, Okada, you know they finna bang. I'm telling y'all, ladies and gentlemen, I will give you a predictions with the Collision review. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got. I will talk to y'all cats Friday, talk about SmackDown, talk about Rampage, and then I'll be back for Saturday. Then I will be back, if not Sunday, Monday. Like I said, I'm not sure exactly when the review for Forbidden Door 2. It depends on how early the show is. If the show ends early, I'll be back. If it ends late, more than likely you're going to get a review Monday. So, hey, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate it. And shout out to the new subscribers. Hey, we growing strong, 241. Salute to the new cats that came through. Hey, if you're new to this, is your first time listening to a video of mine, a video review, I appreciate it. Hit the comment section up. Tell me what you felt about the show, and we will go at it. Like I said, I love engaging with cats. Like I said, make sure you hit the like button. And like I said, if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. And I'll talk to y'all cats later. Holla at your boy.